Here we are in chapter 7 of planning curriculum. If you remember from the introduction to this section last week, we talked about how these next few chapters are going to be specifically about planning curriculum for the various domains. And so we absolutely don't want to overlook social and emotional development. So we're going to start with it. And we'll talk about a couple reasons here in a second. But I think probably if you asked an outsider to education, what are the domains? What kinds of learning do you need to plan for? They would say things like literacy, math, science, and they might not think about social emotional development. But we as early childhood educators absolutely have to. And if you want to think about why, right here in your book on the second page of the chapter, children who have been reported as having the greatest difficulties in learning are hindered by the lack of social emotional qualities more than academic concepts. So social emotional development the rest of them hinge on it. If they're not socially emotionally ready to learn about all the cognitive things, then they're not going to be as successful in all of the cognitive domains. So it is just crucial and very important. And it doesn't just happen. It has to be planned. And so, of course, we get a chapter on planning social emotional development in curriculum. So you want to utilize normal curriculum practices. Of course, I expect you to read all of this. I'm just highlighting on some key parts I want to talk about. And the most effective approach, as we have learned throughout all of our child development classes and experiences, is play-based active learning. That's how they learn the best, and that's no different with this. So play-based active learning, let's talk about some examples. Role-playing, children pretending to be different characters and acting out various scenarios helps them develop empathy and understanding for others' perspectives. Collaborative games are games that require teamwork and cooperation, like building blocks or group puzzles, and they promote communication, problem solving, and building positive relationships. Dramatic play, which is not quite the same as role playing, because in dramatic play, you're not always working out scenarios or someone else. Sometimes you're yourself, but dramatic play, setting up a pretend play area with costumes and props allows them to express themselves. They can practice social skills and they can explore different roles and emotions through dramatic play. So dramatic play can involve role playing. Circle time activities, engaging in group activities like singing songs, sharing stories, discussing feelings about circle time are all good for them, and they encourage communication, turn-taking, and emotional expression. And another example is outdoor play. Activities like playing in a sandbox or swinging on a swing or participating in group games on the playground promote social interaction, negotiation, and sharing. Yeah, even swinging on a swing because they've got to take turns, right? Or they might ask a friend to push them. So even some things that you might not think about at first as being social emotional development really are. And one of the videos that you'll watch this week touches on that, about some very early cues of social emotional development that that you might not think of, like infants looking at each other. So this bulleted list, absolutely do not skip it. It gives you real world ideas that you can use in your class. So definitely don't skip looking at these bullets. All right, environmental factors in supporting social and emotional development. So your whole key assessment is about environmental factors, right? Mainly of the room as a whole and of the different centers or learning areas that you have. But the environment is just as important in social emotional development. So it has to be designed to promote exploration, movement, and sensory experiences. Having age-appropriate materials and equipment like age-appropriate toys, art supplies, and even outdoor play areas encourages physical activity and stimulates cognitive and motor development. So it leads into the rest of them. And creating a safe and well-organized space with designated areas for different activities like reading corners and art stations helps them feel comfortable and engaged. So it all just ties together, doesn't it? Of course, the physical environment also has to prioritize safety, not only for the obvious reason, but also because if we're not safe, how can we concentrate on learning if we don't feel safe? And if you're not familiar yet with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you should look that up. But at the very bottom is that our basic needs are being met, and safety is in order for us to develop into further things, our basic needs have to be met, and safety is one of those. So if a child doesn't feel safe, they don't feel like they can learn. Again, look at the bullets. Physical environment that supports social emotional learning has the following characteristics. So look at these things, read them, and think about your classroom and if those things are being met. Part of the environment of social emotional learning or development is having a consistent and well-structured daily schedule. Because in early childhood, that contributes to social emotional development in several ways. One, it can provide a sense of routine and predictability, which helps them feel secure and reduces anxiety. So just like we talked about feeling safe, like they're free from harm, they need to feel secure in their environment. Knowing what comes next is very important to them and their routines and feeling secure. That allows them to develop too self-regulation skills and manage their emotions more effectively. And a structured schedule provides opportunities for social interaction and collaboration. So not only does having a schedule itself help their social emotional development, but it also means that you are planning social emotional activities into that schedule. So again, it all relates. It's a circle. So like during group activities or circle time, you're planning things. And so that fosters a sense of belonging and community and allows them to develop social skills and empathy, like, during circle time, just having time for them to share their thoughts that day and not rushing through, we got to do this, but just giving them time to talk helps them learn to listen to others and empathize with others' feelings. And again, positive relationships. And that's with peers and adults because they're talking to you too, right? I think I've said this before, but I hope you're always reading these vignettes and the little things in the purple and green boxes. It gives you some real world scenarios that you might face someday, and then you would be better prepared for them when you've already read them here. So part of social emotional development is developing a children's sense of self. And it's important for children to develop a strong sense of self in early childhood education because it sets the stage for their overall well-being and their future success. When they have a positive self-image, they're more likely to have higher self-esteem, confidence, and resilience, and that in turn helps them navigate challenges that they might come across, to build healthy relationships, and to make positive choices. Strong sense of self also promotes emotional well-being, just like we've been talking about. So as children learn to recognize and to manage their own emotions, they can also learn to recognize those in others. Ultimately, developing a sense of self empowers children to embrace their own individuality, pursue their own passions, and to reach their full potential. So it's really just the foundation for a happy and fulfilling life overall, right? And then we've got some more bullets of ways that teachers can support children's development of self. So don't skip those bullets. Those are things that you could actually take into your classroom. So all of these ideas are a lot of them. And a lot of these, social, emotional, and self activities that we can do don't take a lot of time. They almost don't even seem like things. They're just you getting in the habit of talking this way, asking these questions. A lot of them are, and they can be integrated into other activities. And another vignette for you to read. So, and we finished the chapter just thinking about that teachers need to be active in the interactions, even when they aren't active by taking role in it. They're sitting back and they're observing, not sitting back. You're never sitting back with with these children, of course, but out of the corner of your eye while you're doing something else, you're also observing their interactions, so that you know when intervention might be needed and in what ways to intervene, or sometimes intervention isn't needed and they need to solve their own. So it all requires you being active. So I also have this short video, very short, that I want you to watch and just see all the ways that this teacher is promoting social emotional development.
Really nervous about riding in a boat. What can we say to him? It's okay, Turtle. What else can we say to him? I like how Kaylee's holding him. Kaylee's holding him. How does that make him feel, Kaylee?
Oh, you need a tissue.
It's this. Oh, she does. You really notice her nose. Is this how my turtle's feeling, Robbie?
Yeah.
How is that feeling? And I kind of nervous. He's a little bit nervous. Is he sad? Oh, look at this one.
He's scared.
He's scared. You know that face, don't you? He is scared. Icky. How about this one? How is he feeling there?
Happy.
Happy. You really know those pictures, don't you?
Okay, so hopefully you saw that teacher asked, what can we say to Turtle? Then that's practicing, ways that they could interact with friends. And she acknowledges how Katie holds him and asks Katie how it makes him feel. So she's getting them to think about feelings. Even when another child said, you need a tissue, she said, oh, how nice that you noticed your friend's nose. And then you could tell that she was prepared for this activity because she had, the feelings pages, and they practiced identifying feelings by not only by name, but also what they might look like on a person's face. So lots of social emotional development going on there. I love that it was outside. They just were outside. They were doing a thing that could have been done inside, but they were outside. And we don't know, of course, that she wasn't necessarily taking away from their recess time. It might have been, hey, we're just going to do this outside because, fresh air at any chance that we get, right? So that's another thing to just a side note, be thinking about is, what do we normally do in the classroom that if it's a pretty day, we can do outside? Because that vitamin D is always a good thing. All right, thanks for watching.